It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather. Here's your host, Abby Dyer.
Good morning, everyone. We made it to Thursday of this week, and we are talking more hot and humid weather for the Ozarks. Those storms last night really packed a punch and left many of us with quite a bit of rainfall across the region. Good news for your daytime hours, anyway, on Thursday is that most of the daylight hours will be dry before more rain and storm chances come back into the region. So, the headline for you today, well, it's going to be another hot one. You probably could have guessed that. Not quite as warm as it was yesterday when we had upper 90s. Heat index values yesterday 100 to 110 all afternoon. Air was just feeling muggy outside. And I think we're still going to have some of that around in the forecast today. It's definitely going to be hot and humid, just not as bad as yesterday. Clouds out there this morning, they're thinning out. Any leftover rain shower is going to be moving off to the south and east. And I think what we're in for is primarily a dry day for this Thursday afternoon. Clouds are clearing out. That will allow the sun to come back out. And I'm expecting that heat and humidity build again. Most of the daylight hours are going to be dry, but once again, the headline here is going to be the oppressive heat. We've got middle 90s in the forecast for you, and I'm expecting the heat index value to be anywhere from 100 to 110 again today, probably closer to the 105 region through the peak of the afternoon. So better than yesterday, but still a hot one. So be on alert for that. We are not getting rid of the heat and humidity anytime soon. In fact, when I preview and look at the long range charts, next week looks hot. We have this huge ridge of high pressure setting up again. It's going to be brutal again. I've got more storms in the forecast overnight tonight as we head into early Friday morning, and then unsettled weather as we head through the weekend too. Now, as I mentioned, we had a whole lot of rain in some of those storms last night. Flooding is going to be a concern for us as we head into the weekend and get closer to the end of the work week as well, because I've got additional chances for rain and storms. I was looking at how much water is actually possible. Now, this includes the amount of rainfall that came through last night, but area wide, we're talking 2 to 4 inches of rain in a matter of a couple of days. So, including what came through last night, add on tonight's round that's going to come through. We've got more in the forecast for you Friday. This is all the way through Saturday morning. There will be places, a widespread area that gets more than 3 inches of rainfall. And we're not necessarily seeing any drought conditions, especially in the southern Ozarks. So I do think flooding is a concern. Flash flooding is a concern. We're getting close to the weekend. I really want folks to be thinking about, those outdoor plans this weekend. Floating, if you're heading to any area waterways, flooding, a headline for us. Camping, if you're planning to spend any time outdoors, please, please, please make sure you're paying attention to how much water is in the area that you're planning to go, and additional rain and storms that will be likely in any of those low spots. The forecast for today, as I mentioned, it's still hot, 94 degrees for the high temperature forecast on your Thursday. A west breeze through the afternoon. I think the daylight hours are primarily dry. However, more rain and storms move in late tonight. Again, likely an after dark event. Severe weather, while there could be a few strong storms, I really think the localized flooding is the big headline here with those storms that come through tonight. And then we are talking about additional chances for rain and storms in the forecast as we get closer to the weekend. And I'm thinking that we even see some rainfall in the forecast early next week. Also, temperatures next week, I hinted at this a minute ago, but I see a big ridge of high pressure that builds back into the region, and it boosts us up way into the upper 90s again next week. We could once again be dealing with some triple digit heat in the forecast as we move into the early part of next work week. So hot and stormy in this extended forecast. All right, time for the wake up weather brain twister question for the day. Kind of a funny one, isn't it? Who is the only Top Gun actor who did not vomit while in the fighter jets? The options that I gave you yesterday: A, Tom Cruise, B, Val Kilmer, or C, Anthony Edwards. I saw a lot of folks chiming in Tom Cruise, and if you cheated and Googled, this is probably the answer that came up in the search bar. But I did some sleuthing on this one, and the answer is actually not A. The answer is C. It is Anthony Edwards. So this actually goes back to the original Top Gun. 1986, Goose, only one to not vomit in the fighter jet. But then when they redid Top Gun Maverick, Tom Cruise did not vomit in Top Gun Maverick, and neither did Monica Barboa. So, two actors did not vomit, but they actually were in, real fighter jets. They went through a 3-month long training process in the sky in these planes to experience the real, G forces. So when you see those actors, going up, going straight up, going upside down, those were their real genuine reactions. And there was a funny quote from the producer of Top Gun Maverick that I looked up, and it said we couldn't use any of the footage. Everybody was throwing up everywhere. We had to clean the planes. We had to come back down to the ground. I would review everything and I'd say, oh, everyone was throwing up. We have to go back up and do it again. So kind of interesting that the actors went through that. But the only one from the list that never vomited was Anthony Edwards. C, the answer. I'll leave you with the weather brain twister question for tomorrow. And it is, who recorded The Thunder Rolls before Garth Brooks? Do you think it was Tanya Tucker, George Strait, Johnny Cash, or do you think, D, this is a trick question and that Garth did it first? I'll have the answer for you early tomorrow morning on Wake Up Weather. Thanks for joining me on this Thursday. We'll chat again on Friday morning. And for up-to-the-minute weather information all day long, you can head to aroundtheozarks.com. Got you covered there.